What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Emporium's TV review of Lovecraft Country Season 1, Episode 1, Sundown. Before we begin, please hit that subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at the top to find out what's coming next. Hey, if you like this video, cool, hit that like button, and comment below on any video you watch, including this one. So Lovecraft Country is a TV series I've been looking forward to ever since I saw the first trailer. I had heard about this for quite a long time. I knew Jordan Peele and J.J. Abrams were going to be involved with something very horrifying, very sci-fi-ish. So it's one of those things that, you know, when you kind of see everything kind of play through on what they kind of came out with, you're really excited by it. But it's a series that has a very Lovecraftian feel. H.P. Lovecraft is very inspired. It's a very inspired type of series with all its creatures that it shows in, like, especially the first few minutes of the series. And it's an interesting thing to kind of be excited for because it deals with a lot of very prescient and very hard, difficult things to deal with, which is racism in the 50s and 60s. Which unfortunately is what we're still dealing with today on a just as big a grand of scale. And so I was just excited for it. I haven't watched all of Watchmen, but I know that's a really great series from what I've watched of it. And when you get somebody like Jordan Peele, who's very much a A-list producer / director right now, you get J.J. Abrams, who is basically the Spielberg of our time right now. You get Misha Green, who's basically coming up on her own, getting these big projects produced. You're probably gonna have a winner on your hands, and it's a winner. I mean, I'm just gonna say it right now. But then you got this cast, and you got, of course, Jonathan Majors, who is playing Atticus Freeman in this series, and he's the major character. He's the one you're gonna be following when the reveals happen and stuff like that. And Jonathan Majors, if you don't know or have not followed him, he was in a movie called Last Black Man in San Francisco. He's been in other stuff, but the one that I remember him from is from that movie, and that is a fantastic, one of the best of the decades type movie that you should definitely watch if you get a chance. But then we, of course, have Courtney Vance, who is playing Uncle George, which, of course, is his uncle. They're actually, Atticus is looking for his father in this series. And then we have Jurnee Smollett, who's playing Letitia Lewis, and she is, of course, looking to be kind of like the romantic interest or somebody from, you know, this character Atticus' past, who's actually nicknamed Tick in this series. And then, of course, this is directed by Yann, who has a very interesting career on his own right, and this really shows his directorial abilities and stuff like that. So, anyways, after this first episode, I can pretty much tell you right now that this series is going to have a life. It's going to have a water cool style thing going for it, because the first episode, if it's anything like how this series is going to play out, is going to be one of the best things that HBO has produced ever. It doesn't start out like the strongest because it has to have the setup with the whole racism stuff, but it's a series that is so well written and so well paced just from the get-go that you're so excited to see what's going to happen next. And it's going to be like a Game of Thrones. It's going to be like a Westworld, where at least the first season, you're going to have some of the most incredible writing that, you know, Hollywood is known for. This is why HBO is so good at what they do. But like I said, we got to get through the next 9 episodes to really, truly kind of gauge how this series is going to play out. But if anything like this first episode, which I'm actually giving a 10 out of 10, which I don't usually do very often. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what they do next. But from the get-go, you can really tell this TV series is going to hinge on the very dark and disturbing sci-fi and horror that H.P. Lovecraft is really kind of known for. This show is based off a book by Matt Ruff, and I unfortunately have not read the book, so I don't know much about it, but it sounds like an interesting book if it's anything like the TV series. And it basically starts out with Atticus Freeman having like a dream. He's sleeping on the bus heading home to Chicago, and it's a really kind of cool dream. It's something straight out of like Orson Welles, or, you know, those 50s, 60s sci-fi horror movies that you watched. With the spaceships, you know, everything's roundish, and you see like the War of the Worlds stuff, and you see like the aliens and stuff like that. There's like an H.P. Lovecraft style monster, that big winged creature that you see in a lot of his like artwork and books and stuff like that. And it's just basically him having a dream. It sets up like how creative his mind really is, because he also reads stuff like John Carter from Mars, kind of Monte Cristo, so he's a very well learned person. But like I said, he has to go back home to Chicago, which is a very race-driven city with, you know, there's a lot of, you know, African Americans who live there, but there's a lot of racism going on with the cops who are white and stuff like that. And, you know, the story basically has him trying to look for his father, and they go on a road trip, him, George, and of course Letitia go on a road trip through, you know, the South and the wherever they have to go to get to Arkham County or something like that. And it really plays out in a similar way to like something like a Green Book or something like that, where George's character is actually helping write the Green Book about how African Americans can find places that are safe for them. And we start to see like the outlining situations. They go to this cafe in the middle of this county. The county has turned into a very white populated county, and they basically get chased out of the city while being, you know, shot at and stuff like that. And that's basically the whole 40-50 minutes of this first act, where we're not only being introduced to the characters, but we're being introduced to the plight of what it is like to live as an African American in this country. And it's just what you expect. You've seen it a million times before. I think it really does a nice job of kind of showing you how difficult it is for, you know, races like African Americans in this day and age, and especially in the 50s and 60s, to have to deal with, you know, this type of persecution and stuff like that. So it really does leave a very sour taste in your mouth. And I'm not saying it's bad because this series is really good. I'm just saying it really leaves a bad taste in your mouth because it makes you embarrassed, but it gives you kind of an idea of what happens. And it leads them to being chased out of this county, because if they don't get out of the county, they will be put, you know, hung from a tree and stuff like that. It's really disturbing. And they finally get out of the county. The chase sequence is very tense and stuff like that. And they get over the county line, and then they still get caught, and they're going to be taken to the woods and killed. And then that's when the Lovecraftian, very Stephen King-esque like twist happens, where all of a sudden they're attacked by these creatures, and these creatures are basically vampire-ish type creatures. And that's when the show just goes, it's like, what is going on? This is insane. You're being attacked by creatures. These creatures have like weird eyes. You know, they're attacking all the police officers. They end up in a cabin, like the three main characters, as well as some other officers. One of the officers starts turning into a vampire. Then all of a sudden, like, you know, the Letitia character is going to get the car, and then she finally comes back with the car, kills the vampire, and all of a sudden, like, they're trying to like protect themselves to the morning, but these creatures get like they have people that whistle. There's like a whistle or something like that, and the creatures disappear. But they're very much like a they're like a weird alienish style creature that has, like I said, a bunch of eyes and stuff like that. So it's very terrifying to watch. And it's very graphic when they're like killing people. And then as they're walking during the daylight, because apparently these creatures are vampires or whatever they want to call them, somehow Courtney Vance's character George knows they're vampires. It's really interesting how he finds out because of the light and stuff like that. And they are wandering. They end up in Arkham, and they end up at this house, this gigantic mansion. And they open the door, or they knock on the door, and somebody answers, and they know who Atticus Freeman is. Okay. That's the end of the episode, and I'm like, oh, here we go. We're going to the J.J. Abrams style mystery box of what is going on. And if you don't watch, like, this is what's coming on in the next season, you have no idea who these people are. You have no idea how they know Atticus. And it makes it because it's the pilot episode, so you're not supposed to know these things, which is kind of a nice thing to do. But there's also a sequence when they're being chased by the local redneck racist people, and this silver like Buick or whatever it is comes flying next to this car that the three main characters are in, and the truck that the racist people are on doesn't even hit the car and flips over and kills all the racist people, and the guys are able to escape. And it's really fascinating because the lady walks out and she's like staring at him because she knows who Atticus is. Basically, I don't know, but like I said, that's pretty much the whole entire episode. Is dealing with a lot of racism issues. It's dealing with a lot of like exposition and introduction to these characters. At one point, Atticus, calls South Korea, and there's a woman on the other line, so there's probably some information that deals with that and his past. We're gonna see, I think, that Atticus's past is connected to this house, is connected to this world in some way that he has forgotten about. And maybe he has been put on this bus as like a experiment or something like that. I don't really know. It's a kind of a early assumption or early kind of wandering into this world of Lovecraft Country. And I mean, that's pretty much it on the episode, but it's just an incredible journey that these characters go on to get to this point where we're going to start seeing the sci-fi and horror elements of this show. And I really like that. I really like what Yann Demange and the producers and the writers are really setting up for us. They're giving us heroes and possibly anti-heroes who have real truth to them, real kind of abundance to them. They have real life, and you know, they feel like real characters. And it's really nice to see. You know, there's a point at the very, like, near the beginning of this episode when they have a block party, and it really feels like you're at home at this block party, and there's a band, and there's some blues playing, and there's like just kids running around having fun, and you feel for a minute that these kids and these humans and people have real freedom, which they really don't in the 50s and the 60s, which really sucks. But I think overall, I think this is a series that I'm really looking forward to. I think once again, J.J. Abrams and Jordan Peele have truly shown how good they are as producers and picking properties. And you're just going to see this series grow and grow and grow to be something truly unique and truly special. I just hope it like lasts through one season. I hope it doesn't turn into like Westworld, where the second season is just kind of, you're wondering what happened. You know, I liked Westworld season 3, but once again, that fell off kind of the face of the earth near the end of the series. And it's the same thing with like Game of Thrones. You know, that series started out way strong and will stay there for quite a while, but like I said, it suffered later on. So I really do think that this series is going to have life. I think the first season is going to be unique and interesting, and it's going to give us, you know, some answers, some questions, and it's going to be a series that's going to be an interesting take, dealing with some interesting subject matter, because, you know, when you deal with the racist, you know, 50s and 60s, and your three main characters are black people, that can lead into some really interesting material. So at this point, I give this episode a 10 out of 10. It's intense, it's satisfying, and has some great moments that lead up to some really great introductions to some great characters. So at this point, this is definitely a recommend, and I can't wait to watch next episode, which, you know, is next week. So there you go. But yeah, that's my take on the first episode of season 1 of Lovecraft Country, which is Sundown. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? You know, this is the first episode, so we still have a long way to go. But otherwise, you know, hit that subscribe button for Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find out what's coming next. Hey, if you like this video, cool. Hit that like button. If you dislike it, it is what it is. And also, there we go. But we'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace out.